Stage 101 with Status. What's up, my boy?
What's up, my G? Stage one, man. Shout out to Family Rich.
We here. So, from the time that we spoke to book this interview, I was trying to think, like, how could we jumpstart this off? Like, what could we talk about? And on my way here, I was like, you know what? I thought of one word, and that's grind.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? From the first time we met through a mutual homie, shout out to A.
hmm
Um, you was on your grind, bro. From
Appreciate
day
that, man.
one. From day one. Circumstances is I think where I met you in your career. I don't know if that was the beginning, the middle, the beginning of a new beginning, but I remember this was during a time where the young rappers had blank CDs and we were still writing with markers, and you had whole digital graphics in color.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was handed a CD, I listened, I was like, yo, my boy can rap. But it really hit me when I used to just be mixing and mingling around Charleston and would hop in somebody's car and they would be playing it. Or I remember sitting, I think I was with a chick or one of the homies, and I looked in their back seat, in the window area, and I saw your CD amongst other CDs, the Cash Monies and
Right.
everybody. So it's like it was in people's rotation. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean, not to drag it out too long, but yeah, tell us about your journey from the beginning, man.
From the beginning, man. From that era, like shout out to Garfinger, BCM Recordings. That's what kind of like when I first started recording music and really like doing the hand-to-hand pressing of CDs. Also, shout out to Pistol Meach, man. We used to go in the store and steal blank CDs and burn our own CDs and hand them out at Stone Soul Picnic, G93 jams, different parties and stuff. So it's like you said, grind, man. Like that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? I'm from that era where we putting CDs in your hand or putting CDs on the car, or where everybody in the club, we got flyers all over the car, and that's where we come from. So it's all about grind. You know.
Facts. Name the rapper that made you want to rap, that started you with rap, that influenced you to pick up the mic. And I want to know the rapper that you would give the most credit to, that inspired your style overall throughout your whole musical journey. And when was that point where you took all the influences and finally found yourself and came up with Status?
I'm inspired by a lot of people. It's all in one pot. I'm gonna get to the number one is Lil Wayne. I'm gonna just get to it. Lil Wayne like really inspired me to want to rap. Um, Not just from when he was hot, but even when he dropped Block is Hot, even when he was on True Story with BG, like he just always stood out to me. But I'm like a gumbo in the pot. I really respect like 3 6 Mafia, shout out to Project Pat. I grew up off that music. I was a South baby at first, Pastor Troy, No Limit, Cash Money, stuff like that. And then I started getting into, you know, um, the up north rap. Shout outs to you, shout outs to Cliff, all my up north homies that put me on the Street Wars mixtapes. And, you know, that's when I got into like Dipset, Hove, different stuff like that. So like when it comes to rap, like I'm just inspired by a lot of things, like a lot of different eras. Like we came up in a lot of great eras, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
where down south was ruling, where you had the parties, with the Nellies and the Diddies and stuff like that, Mace, and we just had a lot of different genres. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like, yeah, man, it's just about like this music game. Like I'm inspired by it all, you know what I'm saying? But I got to give it up to Wayne first and foremost because I just feel like he had so many different styles. He showed us so many different things, and from the beginning, he just always inspired me to want to get in the booth and do it. Plus, he was young, so
Mm-hmm.
he was somebody that was speaking to the younger people like, hey, yo, you can get in the booth and rap. Like, it don't matter about age and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can rap, so that's what it's about.
And final question: when did you find status, like that sound like, all right, this is mine? Did you always have that sense like, uh, you know what I mean, I got it all together, or was there like a process that you had to go through to find your sound?
uh, like yeah, it was a process. Like I can't say that like from the start I knew who I was because I put a lot of my life into my music. So like you know, your life changes, you grow. So I feel like with status, like he has grown, you know, from Swerve to talking about his life to just going through situations like, you know, I probably, you know, I'm still kind of figuring out. I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, as an artist, like I'm still figuring myself out.
That's dope. That's dope. That means that there's always room for improvement.
Right.
You you made a statement that is perfect segue into talking about the difference between the eras. You said coming up, you had a whole bunch of different stuff to influence you. Do you think the current musical landscape is still the same way, or is there just too many artists sounding alike?
Um, I feel like I mean, just with hip hop, you gotta allow it to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of stuff we're not gonna understand or not like or whatever. But I just look at it as like it's a situation where you know what I'm saying. Like it's just it is what it is. Like everybody has a lane. You know, like you can't really say no music is whack now because if somebody has a fan base for it, I mean,
Somebody likes it.
somebody likes it. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I really can say about
And I
that.
always say the number one rule to art is that there is no rule.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be liked or understood, but it's meant to be felt. So
Right.
as long as people feel it, it doesn't matter if people say that you're whack or you're good, or you know what I'm saying. It's not like the old days or the new, you know what I'm saying, or they just don't understand the new age.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, just leave room for people to have that room to create. With creating, what is your greatest inspiration now to do music? Like, what still drives you after all these years?
My kids, because I definitely look at it as a music business. This is the music business. I want to be able to take care of my kids, my family. Um, you know, seeing different people like Ross doing different deals, Jay
Mm-hmm.
Z, just black people just doing different deals. Even Kanye. You know, I know he
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of controversy, but as far as business, like I just like the business moves people is doing, and like that's what really inspired me, man. Just business. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you know, we ain't come out the womb with nothing, so we trying to, you know, have foundations to leave for our kids and our family and stuff. So that's what it's about.
I respect that. The Promised Land. Uh,
Mm, deep.
Rick Rick Ross, very.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what Rick Ross named his property. Um, I get real inspired by him also to see
Mm-hmm.
him call a company and get a quote on how much it's going to cost to cut down trees, and then the quote is so high till he ordered his own saw and got outside and cut it down himself. Buying while people buying Lamborghinis, he buying livestock. Like he
Yeah.
just put buffaloes on the on his property. The wing stops.
Yeah.
You know,
Grinding.
Rick Ross, he keeps his
Yeah.
hand in something.
That's why he inspired me to do like, you know, not to get into that, but bring it back to me. But it's like that's what inspired me to do like my amount of clothing.
Nah, it's about you, bro.
To
Bring it
do
back.
different things. My In the Main podcast, just
Hmm.
trying to do more things to just be a rapper. I also, you know, did Instagram marketing at one point for artists.
Hmm.
Um, like it's about having different departments because, like I said, this is a music business and this is a business. And with business, guess what? You got to have clientele to make money. Like it's about having clientele. So that's why I tell artists too. Like you know, where's your clientele at? You know what I'm saying? You got to know, you know, where your product is and where to sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
So, what's your ultimate goal in the business? Like, what does that look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What's your, how many years do you think it's going to take you? Is it a 3 year plan, a 5 year plan, a 10 year plan? But when status reaches his ultimate peak, not saying like you'll stop, but what do you imagine that being like?
Just always growing. Just always just always growing as a person, spiritually, financially. That's all I want to do is just keep bettering myself. Like I don't feel like I ever be, really comfortable or content. I feel
So,
like when you keep growing, that's what thrives you. So it's just all about growing, bro. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
do you believe that there's a space for status in the music industry? Could you compete with the current best of the best?
Most definitely, I think I proved that on my own. When me and Wash out the Wise when we did our song with Young Dro, running up bands, which is on Apple Music and everywhere right now. But to keep up with an artist like that was substantial because a lot of people know that Dro can rap. Might be a slept on artist, but
Yeah,
like he is a major artist still.
yeah,
And to be able to keep up with him on record, like me knowing that,
yeah,
that's really big for me. That's like an accolade in my book. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, um, yeah, man, most definitely. Like I feel like I can compete with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a lot of people that ain't even on my level either. It's a lot of people that don't understand me. I feel like maybe I might be before my time sometimes when it comes to music.
Right. I ain't gonna lie, and I ain't just gassing you because I'm sitting here. It's like, listen, bruh, and shout out to Wise too.
Yeah.
I think you might have had the best verse on that song, bruh. I think
Man, listen, I really
we used to
appreciate
talk
that.
about that.
Yeah,
Me and Kev used to talk about that a lot. I used
yeah,
to be like, I don't know now.
yeah,
Niggas, of course, people are gonna go crazy
yeah,
because it's Dro.
yeah.
Like, you got Dro on a record.
Dro
Like,
went in though. I can't even
he
deny
did.
that. Dro,
He
Dro went
did.
in.
He went
Dro
in,
went in.
and I had a homie. I had one of my other homies, Zeke. He said, "Nah, Dro ripped them niggas."
Yeah, Dro went in.
He did go in. He did. Shout out to Dro.
Yeah,
Shout out to Wise went in.
yeah. Shout out
But
to
you know what
Wise.
I'm saying? This is hip hop. It's a
Yeah,
competitive sport.
yeah,
People have preferences, and they
yeah,
like who go harder. And I don't know. Maybe I have to go back and listen again.
yeah.
I think it was Dro's voice, his switching up in the cadence and all that. But lyrically,
Yeah,
I think you probably edged
yeah.
everybody on that track. But shout out
Appreciate
to you
that,
for that.
man. I mean, everybody got an opinion, but like, yeah, like it's it's deep when it comes to competing in music because at the same time, like, we all came together on that record, but like you said, at the end of the day, people gonna have their, opinions and whatnot.
Who's the best in the game right now?
The best in the game right now, I gotta give it to Drake. You know what I'm saying? I feel like ain't nobody really competing like as far as like his numbers, his styles, the different changes. I understand a lot of rappers don't like to give people credit because they get help in the booth,
Hmm.
like. But at the same time, man, it's just about them records, man. Them records is going off every time you drop. It's going.
You think you can hang with Drake on the
I
record
think
right
we could
now?
do something. I think we definitely could commend each other. I think if you heard me and Drizzy, you would be like, "Damn, Stat went in too." Like
Yeah.
Stat ain't just came on
Right.
the track with Drizzy. Like Stat went in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Right.
So
Shout out to Champagne Poppy.
yeah, shout out to Drizzy, man. Shout out to
He-
the OVO whole Young Money team.
yeah, he put Canada on the map. That
Most
was
definitely.
different. Speaking of Canada, how do you feel about Tory Lanez? You think he can, because me personally, when Tory Lanez first came out, I was on the Tory Lanez wagon. Like,
Right,
I think he might be better than Drizzy.
right.
His pen game, some of his flows, his
Nah,
delivery,
he's
he
most
sings
definitely a
better.
very respected artist, though.
Yeah, Tory Lanez versus Drake. If they were in the verses, who you got?
Of course, I'm gonna go with Drake.
You
I
gotta go
said
with
that.
Drake because he just got too many
Yeah,
number
of course I'm
ones.
gonna go with Drake, man.
That
That's
was
an
a
easy
crazy
one, bro.
question. That was a crazy. Shout out to Tory Lanez though.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Tory Lanez and the Megan Thee Stallion situation? It's been a prolonged situation that could have really destroyed his career,
Yeah.
could have destroyed his life. And this is not to bash Megan Thee Stallion in no way, shape, or form. I wasn't there. We weren't there. But based on the facts that's being rolled out from the allegations going from um, him shooting her to the charges being dropped, no evidence of such. How do you feel about that situation and situations like that in general, where the man's life and livelihood is put on the line because of the word of a woman, and it finds out that it's not true, and then the woman can just walk off scot free without any consequence?
Right. First of all, I don't be in other people's business. We pushing P around here, but
Hmm.
you know, just outside looking in, like I just feel like you gotta watch who you be around. You gotta watch, what you do, what you say, cause like the media watching, the feds is watching, the police is watching, Instagram is watching, everybody watching. So it's
Hmm.
just like with his whole situation, bro. I just feel like you know, you just gotta play it cool because at the end of the day, man, like it's your word against theirs. So, like even if he is right, I feel like, you know, chill out, like on the going on social media and doing everything. Same thing goes for her, even if she's right. You know what I'm saying? Let the lawyers handle it, let the courts handle it or whatever. Like
Right.
keep everything off social media. Like just handle your business. You know what I'm saying? If somebody violates you, like like they say, keep it in the street, man. Just, handle your shit. You know what I'm saying? Whether if it's, going to the police or you handle it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
just handle that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Um, Speaking of keeping it in the street, do you feel as though the current state of hip hop has lost that concept? I ask because we come from an era where even if the gangster rappers told you about killing, dealing, willing, and stealing, um, they told you in a poetic way. They told you in a creative way where
Mm-hmm.
it was still musical. Whereas now rappers um, will murder you
Mm-hmm.
and put your name in a record, tell you exactly where and how it happened, and self-incriminating. How do you feel about that? Because earlier we spoke about leaving room for creators to create. You know what I mean, and really not trying to police how people express themselves through their art. But does it come to some point? Whereas, do you believe that hip hop should like put some boundaries and restraints on how we represent ourselves? And do you think that is a good, bad representation, or is just what it is?
Well, I feel like the boundaries is when you get locked up. So it's like, if you want to incriminate yourself, yeah, we're going to tell you don't do it. We don't like it. But if you want to do that and you get locked up, I mean, that's you, bro. Like, that's all on you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, of course, we see stuff and don't like it, but around here, you know what I'm saying, at Mount Up, you know what I'm saying, we don't pay attention to negativity. So there's a lot of negativity on social media with niggas with guns and shit, and people, just posting random shit. But it's just like we don't get that shit no attention, man. Because at the end of the day, like people here for their families and stuff, and it's just like ain't nobody trying to pay that shit no attention. People trying to be positive, man.
It's the law of attraction. What you think is what you're speaking with manifest.
Right.
And what
That's
you
why some shit like they be having like deaths on like Instagram, like the body just dropped. The 14-year-old who got off the roller coaster, like people
right
sitting there watching that, like
and asking and requesting for the video after it's already been
yeah,
explained what the
like
video
I
is
don't want to
about.
see that, bro. Like I don't want to
Right.
just log in and see that. Like I'm like people is crazy, bro. It's just crazy right now. I think we're just living in a different era where we have to be aware of how crazy people mindsets are, like how different the vibes are with different people. You got to
Right.
really control your energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why do you believe that the culture is so entertained and intrigued by controversy and negativity versus the positivity? Because you know how they say um, your homies, your family, everybody, they'll show up for your court date and support, but won't show up to your graduation. You know what I mean? Like, what's the reason behind that? Do you believe?
I think it's how you were raised. I feel like if you ain't had nobody showing you no love or showing you how to hustle, or the wrongs and the rights. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, when you just misguided, I mean, what do you know to do? You know what I'm saying? You just out here just living. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, things got to be installed in you too. Like not only being taught things, but being real got to be installed in you. It just can't. That's something you can't just really pick up and learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or you being loyal, or you know, you just being a peacemaker or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A fighter, like it has to be installed in you. That's just something you can't just be. You can't just be. You know what I'm saying? Can't just do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it got to be in you. It can't be
Yeah,
on you.
gotta be in you. Most definitely.
Throughout your musical journey, or just your journey in life in general, what is some of, or one of the biggest obstacles that you had to face and overcome, and how did you overcome that?
Um, Putting my all into the music, like as far as like money, finances, resources, just like waking up, just doing music and having kids and sacrificing, like having to move away from my kids for 3 to 6 months, to Atlanta to try to chase my dream and not having a job and just really putting everything on the line, um, working dead end jobs, like a lot of sacrificing, man, like with my kids and just money and finances and investing in the music and stuff like that. Like that was things I had to overcome it and really like find a balance with, because it was messing with me personally, because my kids is my everything, and balancing trying to run a business, as far as with my music, people trying to, people saying they believe in me, don't believe in me at the same time, with trying to, fend for my family. It was very hard and tough thing to deal with mentally. And I'm glad I'm at a point where I have a straight balance with that now. But like, yeah, like that was a very hard thing. I know a lot of artists can deal with that, but I would say, man, like most definitely if you're doing your music and you're investing into it, make sure that the family is straight. Make sure that you good emotionally, because you can't do it if you're not, mentally there. So most definitely.
And what was that? What was one? What is one piece of advice? What is the key, and how you balance the two?
Um, the key is, make sure you straight before anybody's straight, which is uh, financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Make sure that you're balanced before you just make moves. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're being unstable and you all over the place, bro, you ain't gonna be able to make no moves. You know what I'm saying? Like really think out your plan. Some things you gotta act on impulse on and take the opportunity, but just try to plan out a little better. You know what I'm saying? Try to
I
have a plan.
I agree. I'm prime example of being a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Hmm.
You understand? Very talented, gifted, can do a lot of things, but a lot of times I was putting the cart before the horse, in a sense, all with good intentions. You know what I mean? I'm a collaborative person. I always wanted to do it with the collective, but it wasn't until I had to say, "Yo, this is like 4 steps forward to take 2 steps back."
Right.
Like, and what is that thing that keep making you step back? And it was always helping people before I helped myself.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can relate to that.
Right. Most definitely, bro.
What has been your greatest accomplishment in music to this day?
Um, to this day, of course, a single with Young Dro, uh, Street Execs, had us number one on one of their DJ mixtape circuits. Shout out to Bigger Rank and shout out to Core DJs. Um, I've been invited to different Spotify playlists and tutorials, like as far as like seminars, because I got a certain amount of streams. I had like 200,000 streams in like 6 months. So I got invited to like one of the Spotify events in Atlanta. That made me feel real good. You know, just it's a lot, man. Being on World Star, just being able to invest in myself and being able to come in as a business and put my own foot forward and receiving it back. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like with my fans, like with my streaming. So I would say like being able to kind of like invest in something and kind of like see like a return, a little bit, that makes me feel good,
Dope.
Yeah.
Where can they find your music?
I'm on every streaming platform: Apple Music, Tidal, um, Pandora. I'm on everything, man. So just type it in status, Geechee Grammar. You can also type in status to take out. Um, we got like 5 albums on there: The Glow, Diamonds in the Dark. So we on all streaming platforms. So Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, we everywhere.
Out of your 5 albums, what is your favorite album?
I think my favorite album to this date. Shout out to DJ Cool. He was the host of this, Geechee Grammar. I think it's real dope. Like as far as like my lyricism, keeping up with the club bangers, the streets, and as far as still showing like growth with my music, like Geechee Grammar is a very dope project. Y'all go check that out.
Given that you've been doing music for so long, um, do you feel as though that your biological clock is ticking, um, given the fact that hip hop has always been presented as a young
Young
man's
man sport.
sport,
Yeah.
or do you feel like your season gives you an advantage, and it's just a matter of what I mean time when it's
I feel like man, the flavor, like it's all about your flavor. Like, I mean, if you looking old and you sounding old, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what's gonna affect. And I just feel like, you know, I have fans like, my songs on the radio. Um, like I have people that still tell me like, hey man, this is hard, this hard or whatever. So I just feel like as long as you got fans, man, I feel like when you got fans, you really know like if you're supposed to do this or not. Like if you just rapping and you don't got no fans, like you going into the barbershop and niggas ain't asking you about your music or when you dropping or whatever, like just give it up, bro. Like,
you can't
you
even
know what
get
I'm
your
saying?
barber to
Like,
ask you when it's
right,
dropping.
like it's just certain things. If your girl ain't interested in your music, like I'm just saying, like it just got to be certain things. So I just feel like like you just gotta have flavor, man. You just gotta have flavor. I feel like age, there is no age. Like you still got good R&B singers. You still got like Jay-Z still dropping good music. There's a lot of old heads, OGs that still dropping some good music.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're defying the odds right now. But for the longest, as soon as a rapper gets to a certain age, he feels as though he has to fall off the
Yeah,
scene, pass the
yeah.
torch. Whereas these rock stars, like, they'll sing until they're 80 years old.
In a
And those
wheelchair getting that
same 80-year-old fans
bad.
who were sneaking away from mom and dad's house at 17
Right.
to go to the concerts will, what I mean, fly across town to see them now today. Um, so, who do you think, which artist in hip hop has, what I mean, you know, um, defied the test of times? Like, what I mean? It doesn't have to be a young man's game. And who still has that flavor you speak of?
Artists like Money Man, artists like Ross, man. Ross is very like, when Ross came with his like luxurious rap at first, everybody was hip to it, like the slow, changing the mood. And he's still on that. It's getting better. And a lot of people not on that because they're on this different wave. But man, shout out to Ross. He's still dropping some classical music. Hove most definitely. Um, Wayne was. I had to. Wayne was doing some iffy stuff, but he getting back to it though. Shout out to Wayne. Like I wasn't really feeling kind of some of Wayne different styles,
Yeah.
but like I like what he's doing now. You know what I'm saying? He's dropping something new. Two Chains coming out. That Carly Grove, I think too. I'm very interested in that. I like when they work together. So yeah, I like. But Ross most definitely, and I gotta give it to Hove too though. Hove will drop a verse on you any moment.
Right. 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 It went from showing niggas how to moved dope to Maryland to talking about Basquiat now.
Right, like
Now
OD
niggas
on
want to
another
go buy
level.
art. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he's always been a good example to show artists how to reinvent yourself. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from Jay-Z, because there's a lot of rappers who still do their same 1-2 step and it doesn't get old.
right,
It fits every time, but they don't really, how can I say, develop.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a Jada Kiss.
Hmm.
Um,
Shout out to Kiss.
Shout out to Kiss, one of the best ever. But he doesn't have to change, and that's a good thing too. He doesn't have to
Yeah,
change or
yeah.
switch his story up. But do you think that kind of hinders? And not saying that he's hurting for anything or saying that it's a dollar amount or anything like that. But do you feel as though if the Jada Kisses of hip hop took a little bit more out of Jay Z's book on how to reinvent yourself and make sure your content fits
Rebranding.
your age, you know what I mean? Do you think they could have been further in their career, or do you think it's just a matter of different strokes for different folks?
Both. I think it's a different show for different folks, but I feel like yeah, most definitely. Like maybe if you did some different things, maybe switched it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, but who am I to say that? You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. You know.
All right. We spoke about a couple of mainstream artists that influenced you, but these are artists that really don't need our shout out. They don't need our cosign. So, who are some local artists that you would like to give their flowers to and pay homage to from the city um, that kind of influenced you? Or if they didn't influence you, who you look up to, who you would like to work with, who have you worked with, and just overall, who do you think is a good representation of the local music scene?
Um, Shout out to Molly Mall. We done records together. Shout out Mr. Taylor. We done records together. Um, Fat Boy was a huge inspiration. Um, he's just that's that record he had. Change gonna come. He used to always bang in the club, and he was always on his grind. And I don't even know what happened. Shout out to Fat Boy. Um,
Yeah, he living up to his name. Fat Boy just ducked off getting fat.
yeah.
I
um,
spoke to some mutual friends. I wanted to get him on the show just to give him his flowers and show love, just to let him know he's still appreciated, even with
right,
being off the scene. But the word got back, like he just ducked off. He's enjoying life. He's fishing. You know what I'm saying? He's
right.
taking care of the fam
Yeah,
as
man.
he should. So shout out to Fat Boy.
Shout out to Fat. Junior G. Um, damn. Um, yeah, and shout out to the new Charleston people coming up, like LOBG,
Hmm.
um,
I keep hearing about him.
Yazzie, of
Shout out to
course,
Yazzie.
um, Core Strange,
Shout out to
um,
Strange.
hmm, Low Boss,
Shout out to Low Boss.
VT,
Shout out to VT.
Lil Jack, Joe
Jack.
Block,
Well,
and yeah, man, like the whole Charleston, like,
free to
oh my
God.
God, shout out to Low Family. Um, I mean, not Low Family. Sorry, my bad.
Big
Shout
family.
out to Big Family, and shout out to Long Money, man. Long Money Phil.
Long Money Phil.
He's on his
That's
grind.
my guy. I fuck with Long
Long
Money.
Money Phil is on his grind, man.
Not just what he is.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Like, and
Yeah, like
Charleston got like a lot of good things going on right now.
if anybody can be a worldwide sensation and represent the epitome of a Charleston rapper, my money's on Long Money Phil. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
It's just something because it's like shout out to everybody because we got a few artists that we pick from, and you can kind of tell how the new artist kind of was birthed from their style. You have a couple of that got Mr. Taylor influences, a couple of them that have the Marley influence,
right,
the Dino influence. They were
right.
the sound, the Fat Boy, and it kind of like turned into their own.
Mm-hmm.
Long Money Phil is one of the artists that sound like nobody that ever came
Yeah,
before him.
he got his own bop, bro.
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah.
And he doing it. Shout out to Long Money Phil.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In closing, uh, nobody if nobody knows who Status is, what do you want the your first listeners or the rest of the world's takeaway to be? from you and your music?
I just want y'all to know, man, come check this glow. Come check this player music. You know what I'm saying? It's real. We got real situation music, reality music. Like, one thing about my music, like, it's gonna be something you can relate to, rather if you're going having a good time or a bad time. So just rock with me, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, you ain't gonna have no choice sooner or later.
Appreciate you stopping by,
Yeah,
man. Status,
man.
stage, one-on-one, wrapping it up.
Mount up, man. Family rich.
Mount up.
Swerve.
Whatever you do, do it to make your family rich.
Yeah.